Okay, so in the last video, I did for comprehension, and I'm going to continue with for comprehension. And this time I'm going to do it on a list of objects, and those objects being dictionaries, the Python term for an object. And also I'm going to do it on just dictionaries. So just dictionaries and not being an element inside of a list. So being able to loop those as well. So all right. So let me create my list. So let's say L equals, and I'll create a list and I'll put a object inside of it, and I'll give it a key which is A and a value which is hello. And you're going to see me do quite a lot of errors, typing errors, because I can't really see the keyboard very well because I need to put the mic in front of my mouth, directly in front of my mouth, because I don't really speak very loud. So to pick up my voice, I've got to speak directly into the mic, and it kind of obscures my vision. All right, so a little explanation about that. And let's do another one, which is B colon, and we'll do that as well. So hello world, and then we'll have another one in there which will be C and that's going to be a 1. So we've got 3 elements in there, 2 of them are strings, hello world, and C, which is an integer. So those are our elements of objects or dictionaries inside of a list, and we'll just print that out. I need to do something about having this mic in front of me because yeah, I can't really see. Alright, so let's just print that out. Okay, so I've got my command there already. So Python 3, this is the file. Remember that I'm using a variable, a bash variable, so that way I don't need to type out the entire directory. Then I'm doing verbose, and I've got my class, which is this one. I'm going to run that particular class and this particular function. Okay, so what's the output? Here we've got the output of the list of dictionaries, and what we're going to do, let's just get rid of that print for a sec. We're going to loop through it, and the reason why we're doing it this way for comprehension, because for comprehension, as you can remember, even though lists are mutable in Python, sets are not mutable, but lists are mutable. We want to try and do things in an immutable type of way, and by doing for comprehension, we're not making changes inside the list. We are creating a new list with our transformation of changes, and that's the beauty of for comprehension. All right, so let's do a print. Now I'm just gonna now this is, when I do this print, this is kind of like a very unusual kind of way. You don't really, people are going to do list comprehension, they're not going to do a print inside of a list, but you can do that. Just for convenience, to show you what I'm doing, then I'm just going to do that inside of the list. So I'm going to say print for, and it will be the X in L. Sorry, for X in L. So this is the list, this is the item that we're looping inside the list, and then with that list we're going to do something with it. Okay, so let's just run that and we'll see what we get. So we've got on a new line each, we've got the first element, the second element, and then the third element, A, B, C. Alright, so that's how you do a basic loop or print inside of a list comprehension, but we want to do something a little bit more jazzier than that. So let's, what are we going to do now? What we'll do, we will just copy that for a sec, and we are going to do something else. We're gonna grab the key, because we don't want to loop through it all. We're going to loop through it all, but we're going to look for a element with a particular key. So we'll do over here, we're going to say if x dot get, and this is a function that helps you get a value. And what that does, the get, x dot get, so x is a dictionary, so this is an object or a dictionary, and you can use get on an object or dictionary, and you can specify a key, and by using get, if the key is not there, then it will just return none. So that's the beauty of this particular function. All right, so we're going to get a, and we're going to say be a bit more expressive, found key x. So we'll grab the whole key and let's run that. Alright, so we have found key, A. So that's the key we wanted to grab. So as you can see, using for comprehension, we can put conditions on the end of that. So alright, let's do another condition. So let's copy that. And this time we are going to we're gonna do a loop of the list, and then we're going to do a loop on the keys and the values. So each of these, the key and then the value. So if I start off with, let's get rid of this bit first, just make it a little bit more easier to look at. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to say I'm going to say D instead of X. So D for dictionary. So for dictionary inside of list, then on the outside I'm going to have another condition, but that condition is going to be my loop, and I'm going to say for X in D dot items. Now you wouldn't use X because I have said dot items. Items are going to correspond to the items inside of the dictionary. So what you have to do, you have to say key and value. So for abbreviation, I'll just say key and V, which means the key and the value. So if I loop that, and I'm going to say key okay and value and V. Okay, hope I explained that very well. And then we'll loop that and see what we get. So as you can see, we've got key A, value is hello. So for key A, the value is hello. For key B, the value is world. And then for key C, the value is 1. Now, why would we want to do that? The reason why we want to do that is because we want to do some transformations on those particular keys and values, right? So you want to be able to, for example, put a condition where you say, give me any key which has A, right? So you could have multiple dictionary objects in there which have the key A, and then you say for all those keys which are A, I want to do a transformation on the value, right? So there could be sort of like wide reasons for why you would want to do that, right? All right, so let's do another example here, and for this one we're gonna loop the lists, and we'll just add a different condition. We're going to say if instance is instance, and I use is instance quite a lot, so that tells you about the type, the data type, and we're going to say v int. So I'm going to say give me key and value as we loop through the list, and then we loop through the keys and values of the items within that list or the objects. Then I'm going to say when you find value, if it's an int, then I want you to return it or print it. And as you can see, the result down here is key C equals value 1. So that's the only one which it's printed or returned. All right, so let's do another condition. And with this condition, we just want to loop a string. So let's say, give me a string, and let's take this a little bit further. Well, let's just output that first. So here we are here, key C value 1, and let's do that again. So as you can see, I've output them all instead of the integer because I've only asked for strings. Now I'm going to add another condition, and I'm going to say, just a bit of regex. Give me something which matches a regex, right? So I'll show you how that looks. So I'm just going to extend that a bit. Let's just move this, just widen this a bit. And on the end of there, I'm going to say, and what shall I say here? So, and re search, and in the search, I'm going to, well, I'll explain this in a bit, so I'll just quickly write it out. So re.search, and I'll say world, but I won't type out the entire word world. I'll put some regex, which is a wildcard, and end of string. So, and I'll come back and I'll explain that. And then v, right? So I've got this module up here which is regex, and so I'm calling the regex, and there's different attributes or functions which you can use within, which are available to you inside the module regex, and the one which I'm using is search. There's different ones like match, find all, etc. And I really do like this one, search, because it's quite versatile. So I've got my regex pattern here, and then I've got the variable which I'm going to regex pattern match against. And so I could have various values within my strings, and I'm just going to look for anything that starts with WOR, and then by the between WOR and what's in the middle to the end of the string or the end of the line or end of the string, then I'm going to match anything, right? So that's what that means. So I should only get this result coming back. And then here you have it, key B value is world. Right, so that's various ways in which you can use for comprehension on dictionaries. So instead of doing it line by line, multiple lines, doing it nested, it's much cleaner. It's much safer to do it as list comprehension. All right, so let's do another one. So I'll just copy the first bit. And instead of doing dictionaries inside of a list, we're going to do we're just going to flat out do for comprehension on a dictionary. And I'll just rename this to something. So I'll call this dict comprehension. All right. So with this one, we will have. Let's get rid of this. So we will have one dictionary, and within that dictionary we're going to have two items, which you know, key value, right? Key value pairs, two key value pairs in there. All right, so let's just print that out quickly. And what is that called? That is, just grab that. So just quickly get a print out of it. So this is what it prints out, as you guessed, you know, exactly as I wrote it. And just get rid of that print. And so the first thing that I'll show you, right? So you kind of do comprehension in the same way, right? I'll open up brackets, because I'm not going to return a list. What I'm going to do, I'm going to return a dictionary, right? I'm going to loop a dictionary, and I want to you know, have the result be a dictionary, right? So that's why I'm not going to use square brackets. I'm using curly ones to reflect a dictionary object. All right, so I'm going to say, I'm going to do the same thing here. Print key and I'll just say K, and it will be for K in D keys. Now for this one, what's different is that I am not using items. So if I use items, then I have to have two variables. So in this situation, I've got the key and the v, because I'm looping both, you know, the items inside of the objects. But for here, I just want to get one, right? So with one, I just need to specify keys. So it could be keys or values. All right, so let's see how that works. And as you can see, key B, right? So I've just asked for that key. Sorry, key A and key B, right? So that's what I'm looping and printing out, just the key. Now I'm going to just copy that, and let's change that to values. And instead of getting the key, I will get the values. So, sorry, let's just call that value. All right, there we go. So the first one was key, the second one is value. So value hello, and then value world, right? So that's how we can get the key or the value. Now what we'll do, we'll just extend that a bit more, and I'm going to say key. Oh, sorry. I like to be clean when I do stuff, right? So I've got key there, K there. So I should have said V. It'll give me the same result, but right, you know what I meant to do. All right. Now let's proceed. So the next one what I'll do is key and value. So let's put key and K and K V, and this one is going to be item. So it's going to be quite similar to how I did it on the list of dictionaries. So this bit here, so for K and then items. Yeah, so that's going to be D. Right, so let's do that. And here we've got key is A and value is hello, key is B and value is world. And so that will be items. All right, so let's do something a bit more. Now, why would you want to do that? You would want to do something like that because when you get to this bit, right now I'm just printing that out, but when you get to that bit, you know, you want to do some transformation. Now, I'm just keeping it simple in these videos, trying to make them short as possible and gradually kind of stepping up. So instead of doing something too complex, I'm trying to start off really slowly. So there is purpose to doing this, And by starting off slowly, I'm just kind of showing you the basics of, how we do our structure on for comprehension. So let's just do a quick transformation, and instead of printing inside of it, what we want to do, we want to get the value out. So we all say v k, right? So what am I doing here? Right, I'm just showing you a very simple transformation. Here we've got the key, and then we've got the value. But what I'm going to do is flip them around. So because I can get them from here, I'm going to say the key is now going to be the value, and then I'm going to replace the value with the key. So let's print that out. And instead of printing it inside of this for demo purposes, in the real world, you're going to do this because you want to create a new object or new list, for example, and then you want to do something on that value that you have transformed. So let's print that out. D2, and see how that looks. So as you can see, we've now changed that to hello, which is the key, and then the value is A, and then the key is world, and then the value is B, right? So yeah, so this is just sort of like another step up from the previous video where I showed you lists, and now I'm showing you how you can do it on dictionaries. And then as we progress, I'm going to show you some more kind of real life, more complex examples. But if you're a beginner, don't worry when I say complex, because I really do aim my videos at beginners. And if you've got no sort of experience in coding, you're the sort of person that I want to speak to, right? So whether you're just completely fresh and you want someone to guide you through step by step, this is my whole aim of making these videos. All right, so I'll catch you in the next one.